TDS Queen here, and hopefully this won't be a long video because my husband is sick, unfortunately, which means I have to be really careful with the medication that I'm on that I don't get sick. And thanks to Trump, he doesn't have health insurance because we can't afford it. So this man is never sick, ever. The last time he was sick was last year in February. So of course he gets sick in the interim between now and when he can get in the union and get health insurance, because of course that would happen. So hopefully it's nothing serious, because can't afford to go to the doctor. But that's reality that we're living in now, unfortunately. So let's see what's been going on in the news. First off, a lot of racism, I tell you, a ton. The fact that we're now back on we're going to pause asylum from third world countries and try to denaturalize naturalized citizens, because of course he thinks he could do that, because he thinks he can do anything. But a reporter asked him, how long are you going to pause asylum from these, supposed third world countries? Which I'm surprised he understands what asylum is, since he thinks that Venezuela unloaded their insane asylums into our country rather than people seeking asylum. Because of course he would think something like that, because he's an idiot. And his answer was, a long time. We don't want those people. And the reporter said, those people? Because we all know what he means, those people. People that aren't white. Let's just, why doesn't MAGA just grow a pair and come out and say, you don't like anybody that's not white? Just, we all know that you feel that way. Just come right out and say it. Quit hiding. What are you hiding? Because you know that it's shameful? Because you know that it's terrible? Just come out and say it. We all know that's how you feel. And he said, people from different countries that aren't friendly to us and are out of control, like Somalia, all they do is kill each other. But whites can come in though still, right? From South Africa, from the white genocide that's happening down there. Again, why can't people just look stuff up? I don't get it. Like, I just looked up the other day because I was curious. I'm so sick of hearing about, MAGA say that, well, Joe Biden let in 20 million illegals and blah, blah. So I actually looked up the number. And yes, a lot more came in under Biden. It is nowhere near 20 million. And some came in under Trump, too. He's not totally, I think it was between 3 and 6 under Trump and like 11 with Biden. And yeah, there was more. But the way that it's calculated, it's not, a lot of it's based on how many people they interact with at the border. That doesn't mean they got in. That means maybe some sought asylum. Maybe some went back. Maybe some got deported back. It's not a, surefire method for counting people that came into the country. But it's not 20 million. Just like the lie that we inherited the worst inflation ever. We inherited the worst economy ever. No, you didn't. You were handed an economy that was on its way back up, and you tanked it. That's what you did. And everybody knows it. So that's the shutdown. We'll see how that works, because he thinks he can just do anything. Yeah. The war crimes that now actually are a thing, that I think I've been talking about in a couple other videos that, haven't fully come to fruition like they have now. And Pete Hegseth can backpedal all he wants to and say that he didn't look. First he didn't know anything about it. Then it was, I left after the first video of they bombed the ship. I didn't even know. Then it was, the admiral did it. It was his orders. Then it was, it happened in the fog of war. That's not going to fly, okay? There is going to be accountability for this. Now, whether Trump will pardon him, I'm sure that he will. So basically there is no accountability, but we need to say it. He is a murderer, okay? He has murdered people. We are not at war. Congress did not approve war with Venezuela. They did not. We are not at war. That makes him a killer, a murderer. And I am so sick of hearing that Democrats support drug trafficking. Of course Democrats, they're not the law and order party. We're the law and order party. They're supporting drug trafficking. No, okay? That argument is so stupid, because your dear leader just pardoned the former president of Honduras, who was a huge drug trafficker. I'm talking, who knows how many tons of cocaine came into this country. He's so concerned with Americans being poisoned by drugs and drug traffickers and stuff. He just pardoned the biggest one. How you gonna square that? that the fact that we support drug traffickers when your dear leader just let like one of the biggest ones off the hook. He was found guilty. His lie is that, well, just because there was drug trafficking in the country, that doesn't mean that the president should be arrested for it. No, he was the drug trafficker, okay? He was involved in that. He was found guilty in the United States and sentenced to prison, okay? That means he was guilty. That doesn't mean it was Biden's, justice system. It was a witch hunt. Not everybody is a witch hunt, okay? He thinks they are, but that's not the case. And so I don't want to hear that argument anymore. We don't support drug traffickers, okay? I don't support that. I don't know anybody that does. It's like, yay, hooray, let's let them off the hook and let them into the country and we can fentanyl everybody up real good. No. There's a thing called due process, okay? There's no reason that these boats can't be taken over like they normally would be by the Coast Guard, boarded, found out that maybe, okay, are there drugs here? Number one, they haven't even shown us evidence that there's any kind of drugs on these boats that they've blown up. They have nothing. They just do it. And I'll get into why, in a second, but board the boats, find out if there's drugs, arrest the people responsible, then that leads to maybe bigger fish because these weren't like huge, gigantic boats. Some of them, motors weren't even pointed to the United States. I would bet most of these are probably innocent fishermen. That'd be my guess. But we need a scapegoat, so yeah, get the drugs, talk to the people, interrogate them, it leads to a bigger fish, and then that's how you do this. That's how it's lawfully done. But no, we are just straight up murdering people. And I'm not down with murder. And I don't know if that makes me a Democrat because I'm not down with murder, but I don't know. But this is why I think he's doing it. He wants everybody out. That's basically not white. So how do you do that? Well, he tried with the Alien Enemies Act, okay? But you can't invoke that unless you're under, you're in war. Like there's war times and everything. So, well, let's just, go backwards in our plan. Well, let's start a war with Venezuela. Well, we can't really do that because we need Congress's approval. So we can start we're just going to say we're starting a war on the drugs and they're narco-terrorists and it's self-defense because we're defending the American people from drugs. Okay, that's really flimsy. But the fact that he's pardoned this guy is just the biggest hypocritical BS that I've ever, not that I've ever seen, because, now, and he's even inserting himself in their election too, as well, that country, because his candidate is not winning. I don't know at the time of this video if he is or not, but when I checked before, he wasn't. So now he's going to scream election fraud, interference, like he did with ours. And why are you even involved in this? Because it's another Trump supporter MAGA sycophant that he wants installed in there. So he can have them all over the world, just like he's Putin's puppet. He needs his own little, installations in other countries. Absolutely insane. Okay, the election in Tennessee. Yes, we lost, but that was inevitable. But what's funny is that this is a district that Trump carried by 22 points, okay? Just a year ago, all right? That's a win to me. Stupid Van Epps, he won by like single digits, like 6. That's nothing. That shows you how tired people are of this nonsense and this regime and all the crazy crap that they do. Okay, it's unfortunate because, also the panic and the money that they threw into this. I mean, the fact that little MAGA Mike Johnson was out there with a smartphone with Trump, like, help, listen to him. Come on, guys, listen to what he says, please. They were in an absolute panic. And then they come out and say, oh, look at all the millions of Democrats who spent on this. No. Again, project and confess, isn't it? No, they were the ones that poured the money into this. They were the ones that were in a panic, and they should be. Because if this is any indication of how the midterms are going to go next year, they are in such deep crap. I mean, look at all the resignations. Nancy Mace just came out, that report on her today, that she was going to go the way of Marjorie Taylor Greene because they're sick of it. I just realized also, there's so much Trump stuff and so much we need to be loyal to the dear leader and do everything he says. They're not able to do anything else. They're not able to get anything, no meaningful legislation passed. They had the House and the Senate. They could have been doing all kinds of crazy stuff in the last 6 to 9 months. Now they lost their window because people see that it's bullshit and they're not doing anything except making Trump richer and his billionaire buddies richer. And that's all they're doing. And people aren't okay with that anymore. And I don't think that they're believing the lies. But apparently in Tennessee they are, because they're still voting against their own interests. It's like nothing is going to change if you keep voting these people in. I mean, what was it that you thought was going to happen? That Democrats were going to take your guns? That we weren't going to let you believe in Jesus? Like, what? Things are never going to be any different. It's the definition of insanity. You keep voting in the same people and expecting different results. Well, your maternal death is high. Your workplace safety is not good. Your poverty level is not good. You have a lot of people on SNAP and Medicaid. Like, why don't you try something different and just see what happens? Just try something different. You know, we need enough people to get out there and just say we're sick of this. And same with the establishment Democrats. We don't need any of that either. We need all the old people to go away. We need new people to come in. We need nobody to take APAC money. And once we do that, maybe things will be different. I'm hoping. I'm hoping that things will happen before the midterms, because it sounds like, I mean, rats running from a sinking ship. I can't with that. I'm sure. But I am proud that everybody got out and voted, because that made a huge difference. They are scared. I don't care. They can come on Fox News and crow about their win and say blah, blah, blah. But I know they're scared. I know they are. So the Gallup poll today. I don't know if anybody saw that. I wish I had the numbers, but I wanted this to be a quick video. They're not good for him. He is underwater. I mean, I think I saw something as high as 30-something points underwater. Maybe even the 40s. And for the economy, immigration, his overall is now dropped down to 36. It was 38. I mean, I'm just like eating this up. This makes me feel so good that, he sucks so bad. And it's like, haha, he really sucks. And there's no spinning that. And it makes me wonder, who is feeding him these lies? Because he gets out there and he says he's got the best polling numbers he's ever had, and he's at 98%. Where? In what poll? In what imaginary world are you at 98%? Because not even with your Republicans are you that high. Not even with them. And with independents, you're way underwater. So I don't know what he's looking at. But the problem is that he's a malignant narcissist. So with malignant narcissists, they need constant approval and support. So are you going to be the one that comes and tells him that he's wrong? Because there's a thing called narcissistic rage. Look it up. It's some scary, scary SH. And you don't want to be on the receiving end of that. So I wouldn't want to be the one that tells him, sir, that's not true. He'd probably turn around and bite your freaking head off. And but they're not fake polls. It's not fake news, okay? When he's doing good, then they're real, right? You see how that works? Just like when they're winning an election, there's no fraud, but when they lose, there's massive, massive amounts of fraud. Come on. You can't be that dumb, okay? No. His poll numbers suck because people are angry. And people can see that they're being taken advantage of and that things aren't affordable. And to him, they are affordable. Because again, another narcissist thing. If things aren't directly affecting him, then he's not going to be thinking about them at all. So can he afford things? Yes. So therefore, in his narcissistic mind, everybody can afford things. Is gas affordable for him? Yeah. He's got infinite amount of money. Of course it is. So it's affordable for everybody else. Does he have to worry about groceries being too much money? No. So then, in his mind, nobody else has to worry about that. That's how the narcissistic brain works. It's screwed up. But like I said, I got a lot of experience with that. I could teach a class on it. That's how they think. They do not have empathy. If something doesn't affect them, then it doesn't affect you. Like if you go, for example, in my life with mine, if you say that hurts your feelings, or they were saying something nasty to you and you say that hurt my feelings, they just can't even, they're like, well, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Okay. And but it hurt my feelings. Like it didn't hurt their feelings. So why would it hurt your feelings? Like they can't even wrap their head around being empathetic. They just don't even get it. Cannot even understand it. Cannot grasp the concept. And that's how he is. He's a malignant narcissist. It's obvious. Like, just read the signs. They're all there. He checks every single box. He also checks a lot of that dementia box. I mean, this man was up posting. Did you see this? Like 400 and then 160 the next night. Like, insane things. Insane things. And if you saw his press conference today, I mean, he has surrounded himself with the dumbest people, okay? Sean Duffy what was he on, Road Rules or Real World or something like that? Bongino and Patel, they were podcasters, okay? Who else? Hegseth, wasn't he a Fox commentator? Like, at least in the first term, he had babysitters, okay? They weren't great, and horrible things happened then too, but they at least kind of guided him along, like, no, can't do that, that's illegal. No, sir, that's not that good of an idea. You know, he at least was contained. You know, somebody was there to stop his most, you know, stupid, primal, nonsense, racist-y, violent ideas that he would come up with. Now, he's just surrounded himself with loyalists. And that is so dangerous, because these are people in charge of the freaking FBI, the Department of Transportation, the Secretary of Treasury. Like, these are important things. I have to fly eventually to go on my honeymoon. I am scared to do that because the guy running the transportation department is a freaking idiot, just like they all are. So I really hope that something changes in the midterms, because you can't have people like that running the country. He wants to have Republicans, MAGA run the country, fine. At least pick people that know what they're doing, that maybe went to school for that, went to college, studied it, has some experience doing it somewhere else. Anything? Like, just not people that basically walked off the street that are your best friends. Like, I wouldn't hire my best friend to deliver my baby. She's not a doctor, but hey, she's my best friend. I bet she'd do a good job because she really likes me. And she tells me that I'm a really great friend. Like, that's the qualifications for bringing my child into the world. Like, no. Not okay. So, I don't know. With that, we'll see how the midterms turn out. Hopefully good. So, the last thing I wanted to say was end it like I started it, with all this freaking racism. You know, watching these videos, I mean, there was a guy today, I can't remember his name, it started with a V, but he basically has been disappeared. He got picked up by ICE, had some kind of medical emergency, had a seizure, and now he just disappeared. His family has called morgues. His family's called hospitals, jails, like ICE. Nobody, well, we don't have him in our system. Well, duh. Where did he go? They all wear body cams, okay? We have the most technologically advanced anything, okay? We found bin Laden in a cave. We can't find this one guy. How many other people have they disappeared? Like, this is terrible. And if you think for 1 second that they can't do this to American citizens, they already have. They already have arrested American citizens. And the violence, and with this administration, cruelty is the point, okay? This is some of the most depraved, psychotic, violent, racist shit I have ever seen in my life. It is hard to watch the videos, okay? And you can't say that they're AI videos and they're all AI, because they're not. This is happening, and we are letting it happen. And I cannot believe that this is the United States right now. I mean, this is so, like, SS, Gestapo. It's just absolutely insane. And to hear them come out and say that, you know, well, they're not compatible with our Western culture, and we don't need people here that aren't going to benefit the United States, and they won't assimilate to our Western culture and our American way of life. Okay, we are a country of immigrants. What makes Chicago such a good city? What makes New York such a good city? Because you can get meatloaf and Jesus on every corner? No, because there's different cultures and different things to do. Okay, there's different restaurants from different countries and different foods and different churches and different religions, and it's a mix of everything, and that's what makes it good and special and different from every single other country. That is why all these immigrants want to come here. You don't see a bunch of other countries having an influx of immigration like we do, because we're the greatest country in the world and everybody wants to come here. Not so much now. because of the stupid idiot that's in charge. I mean, just look at Canada. None of the snowbirds want to come down here, and they're protesting, and it's costing us a lot of money, and it's all his fault again. So, on that note, since I don't want to not talk about Epstein, I'll say one thing really quick. There was a bunch of videos that came out today of his little island setup, and one word for that, ew. We need to not stop talking about that because he's distracted a lot of people with the Hegseth bombings and murder and war crimes and all of that. We can't forget about the Epstein files. They're supposed to be released on December 19th. I'm sure they won't be because Pam Bondi will pull some nonsense like we know that she's going to do. Kash Patel will probably be fired, so that'll be a positive because somebody has to go under the bus for this. But we are not going to stop, and we're not going to forget about it. I'm not forgetting about it. These victims need justice. I don't care, again, who it is that has done these things, be it Democrat or Republican, because I'm 100% positive it's a mix of both, and I don't care. Do not care. Just want them all to be brought to justice. And we all know that there's been this huge, gigantic cover-up because they're getting the FOIA thing, the Freedom of Information Act, and they're finding out all the times they tried to, only put out the Democrat names, not the Republican names. Like, it's clear. The cover-up is clear. So anybody that's still out there that's supporting this man, again, I will say it, you are supporting somebody that has either engaged in these acts or is protecting people that did. Either one, not good. I wouldn't get behind anybody that had done either of those things. But again, people are so brainwashed out there, and, the comments that they say, like I said, I don't even respond to them anymore because after learning most of them are bots, I don't really even care. It's fun to read at the stupidity sometimes. Like, I just marvel at it, the lies that they've been fed and that they internalize. But again, could just be a bot out there. So, with that, I have to get my daughter ready for bed and go check on Sticky upstairs. So, as always, if you like my videos, please hit that like button and also hit subscribe, and never stop screaming the truth from the highest rooftops. And I will see you all tomorrow.